Hi everyone, this is Shalan here, and I'm going to take you through the webinar today on how to build an effective knowledge base. I have uh, I have very interesting announcements also to make towards the end of the presentation, and so let's get started. So I'm going to walk you through the knowledge base app, and what end users see, and many other things. Just before I start, I want to let you know if you're on Twitter, you can follow us on HappyFox app, and we're going to use the hashtag knowledge base today to tweet out some of the things that we're speaking in the webinar, and also any other tips that we find from our users. We're going to retweet that. So if you have your Twitter app on, feel free to tweet about the webinar, or feel free to write your feedback on Twitter, and we'll retweet or engage with you on Twitter. Also, the webinar is going to be available later for a review. So you can actually, if you had your colleague miss the webinar, you can actually go back again to our web help desk resources page and click on webinar and get started there. So, okay, let's kick this off. And so, first things before we get into the app is what are the benefits? Why are we working on building a very effective knowledge base? And one of the key factors is basically we want to reduce the agent effort, which means you're going to have your user self-service, and as a result, you're going to reduce the number of incoming tickets. You're going to reduce the amount of wait time that your customers have, which is going to result in minimized support cost. And knowledge base is a very, very effective way of reducing your support costs. So if you have a standard question that is coming in, day out, you have it on your knowledge base, and you start promoting the knowledge base to make sure that users find that as a first step towards getting support from you. It also enables your first touch resolution, which means if somebody still sends you a ticket, when you go back to them with a reply, you have a very elaborate documentation on how to resolve this issue, and they also learn how to come back to the knowledge base if they have more similar questions. So it increases your chances of your first resolution time, and also as they come to your website, they're self-serving themselves, they find the answers, they get very excited that, hey, I had a question about this product, and now I found a solution within 2 minutes right on their website, and nothing better than that. This leads to improved customer satisfaction. Customers can also interact with your knowledge base, giving you feedback whether they're finding it useful or not, which makes them feel that your knowledge base is not just a help manual that you're handing them over, but it's just a two-way communication process that is enabling them to communicate back to you if they're not satisfied with the knowledge base itself. So today's agenda is I'm going to preview the end user portal, the support center, which people are going to see what your knowledge base is going to look like. I'm sure a lot of few of you here in this webinar today are existing customers, so you already have some of this in place, and I'm going to highlight a few more things, so you might find that useful. And we're going to look at the setting up of knowledge base, how easy it is to set up, some of the advanced features that we have. And we have three new feature announcements. And for the first time, we actually have a webinar giveaway. So I'm going to hold that suspense till the end and let you guys enjoy the webinar. So let me get started. And I have a support center up and running here, and this is just a demo account that I created with a company, Homecom Security. It's into security equipment for homes, as the name suggests. And we're going to show you how I have set up this whole support center. And before I dive into that, let me give you a quick run through of some of our customers who have already set up a support portal like this. So, we have a consumer product company who have set up their North America customer support using HappyFox, and you can see that they've customized their text here. They have a call number, they have product registration, they have their top articles here. So if you're a customer of theirs and you land up on this portal from their website, you're likely to see the most top asked questions. So unlike typical FAQ pages where you just align questions based on what you think is structurally right, when you come to a section like this, you are actually seeing the most frequently asked question in real terms, where people are actually seeing this article more often. So you can see that there's a very simple issue, which is basically what to do when this scenario happens is actually their topmost asked question. So we also have a brand like Sennheiser, which is using the ticketing system. Again, they've customized the header slightly differently here. We have Hult Business School, education from education. They've organized their intro text differently, and they have the sections, their articles listed out here. We have a SaaS company called Brightpod, which does amazing marketing workflow tool, and they use our help portal. And again, they have a very nicely organized help section here. So we have this another demo account, which is basically you can customize the knowledge base to actually look the way you want it to. You can change the colors, you can add an image as a background, you can change the fonts and stuff like that. So, okay, so let's get started. And if you at any point of time after the presentation, you can always go back to our website where all this information is available. You can see more features, and everything that we add in future is going to be available on the knowledge base page. So let's get started. And we have we looked at this layout, and it's very simple, beautiful. It can fit with many brands. It we allow you to customize your navigation here on the top. You can add link, let's say link back to your website, or add a live chat link, and so on. And we have our structure is basically we let you customize this area. We have a search, we have an intro text that you can add or remove. And customize. We have the top articles, and we have the sections. So I've created 4 sections on this particular area. So this is how your knowledge base is divided into 4 layers. And one more thing is this area, the sections area, is completely customizable. So you can say I want sections on the top articles, or I just want a list of sections because I have, let's say, 20, 30 sections. So I want people to find the sections first more than actually read questions under them. So now these are default options available from within the backend where you can customize the look of it. Uh, Now we actually let you control the knowledge base a lot. So what we say command and control. So you can change your text, you can change your logo, and besides that, you actually can also change uh, the the look and feel. So if you want to hide something, you want to make a change the text, you can actually do all of that. And uh, besides that, you also get your own uh, uh, personalized URL. So you can have something like help.brightpod.com or help.yourbusinessname.com and or support.yourbusinessname.com, and point it to our knowledge base. And basically, you'll have a custom URL, and you'll also be able to customize the CSS. Uh, uh, we also realize that users prefer search over structure, and that's why in this particular template that we have, our search functionality is kind of highlighted. So people, if you look at DMOS like directory versus Google search engine, people prefer just typing in something rather than actually going through all the uh, volume of content that you have. So it's so much more easier to type in my question. So I have like a question on footage, I could just type in and I could hit a search. It'll actually get me search results which has the word footage in it. So I have 2 results here, and that's been shown. So it's pretty handy on how search domination of search could actually play an important role in making your knowledge base more effective. So I'm going to go back to the knowledge base screen. And another thing that you can do apart from search and what users can enjoy is basically being able to get suggestions, just like a Google Auto Suggest. We'll be able. So I say I want backup security. So as I type in, it actually knows that there's an article, and it lets me click on the article and actually just go to that particular article. So again, so we offer a robust search. We also offer auto suggestion. And if you notice, we actually uh, let you add social media links, tags. You can see the number of views, date when it was updated, and you can see the whole article listed down below. It's very nicely, neatly organized. It's easy to read. And if I have any embedded video, if I want to embed a video on how to do this thing, but see a video instead, you could actually embed it at any point of time. You can also embed images and do other stuff. So I'm going to show you how to do this from the back end as we see the admin side of it. Uh, we also let you have URLs which are very, very user friendly. So, for example, I have here which is backup security camera footage. So, this is not only search friendly, but if you're passing on the URL to someone over email or over live chat, it makes sense as a URL. Uh, as a standalone URL itself, so people know what they're clicking on instead of having those complex URLs with a lot of query strings on it. So this makes the whole experience for the end consumers really, really uh, uh, easy right from the moment you start sharing the link to them. Now I'm going to now jump into the back end of it and show you how the app is, how easy it is to set up things. Uh, Now let me go to creating a knowledge base article. So this is the admin section. So I've logged in as a staff member. So I am on /staff, which is different from the URL that was there before. And the moment I come in, I have all my tabs, and I click on the knowledge base tab, and I'm there. I know what are the default sections that I have, and I could basically add a new section or add a new article. Now, to add a new section is basically trying to come up with a category for your knowledge base, and you create a new section, and you could type in the section name. For example, I can have a section called after warranty, or after, yeah, or extended warranty could be my section, and I could create articles, and I can say, hey, this is part of nothing. I don't have a parent section. So if I wanted to have a parent section, I could do that. So this will become a subsection. But I could say this is just a all new section that I'm adding, and questions. And I'm going to say this relates to these are the internal categories that we have. So now categories in HappyFox is if you're using the ticketing system, you can actually associate. So when you're replying to a ticket which is, let's say, arrived in the service request section, you can then start linking or start showing these knowledge base articles to the end user. So I'm going to show you that workflow in a bit, but so let me just create this section. So I have the section created, and I can now go and add articles under the section. So I could just say create a new article, and I could type in my article text and start building the article. So now I have, if you notice, I have a text on the right hand side which explains one of the complex functionality of the product. So you might not know what slug text means. So there's an explanation on the right hand side. So all across the HappyFox app, you'll always have help, which will tell you what the section does. So let me just type in a section saying how to extend my warranty is the question that customers have. Now, if you notice slug text is auto completed here, it basically means it's going to be part of your URL that gets built up for your customers. And if you want to change something here, you can always add something. To this. So you can add extended warranty or support, right? So you could just have the word support in it if you wanted. Now, you could basically create a full-blown article here. You can use so you could have a title, and you could basically change the setting to a heading one and so on. So it's a full rich text editor. If you've used a CMS tool like WordPress, or any other CMS tool, basically you have a rich text editor, and you're allowed to bring in images. So you can insert and edit images. So all you need to do is choose an image and upload it, and basically bring that here. You can also switch to HTML view. So if you already have your knowledge base created in an HTML form on some kind of a web page right now, and you want to bring that over here, you can actually paste that HTML source here, and it will take care of formatting stuff here. So you can also embed videos. So you could just bring in your embed code from YouTube, or if you're embedding your PDF somewhere, you can bring all of those and start showing up those here. So you would type in your article content and basically build that article. And now when you actually choose a section, you can say, I want this article to be under extended warranty. And this is so whether you want this article to be visible to your staff only, or whether it should be available to public. So let's say I'm still not completed on this article. Obviously, I have no content here as yet. So I'm going to keep this internal till I think I'm ready to publish this. Now, one other thing I can do on while creating the article is I can add file attachment. So if I have a PDF to attach, I would basically add it, and I could add tags here, which makes search more powerful. So you can add as many tags now, although the tags are basically similar words that you people might search for, but it's not there in your title or the body of the message. So I would say you can replace warranty with guarantees, support, sales, after service, and so on. So you could add all those tags, and if the tags already exist, then basically it will autocomplete. So if I have a tag called footage or security, it's going to basically autocomplete those tags for me. So let me add two tags here, and let me just add a sample text here, test article, and let's just publish this. Now I'm publishing this, but if you notice that it's still internal, so it's not going to be available to everyone, I can go back, work further on this article, and update this. So uh, now I can go back. So I have my list of articles, and if you see, let's go back to the articles page, and let's take a deeper look into the structure of the article. So I have a title, I have a bulleted list here, and I have my tags. So I have two tags here, and also notice that I have share on social media network. Now I can turn this off by a simple CSS, one line of CSS code. If I don't want people to share my knowledge base content, then I could turn it off. But if you want to keep it on, it's great, especially if you're writing very good how-to articles. They're useful to a lot of people. They're going to share it, and that way you're going to generate more and more visitors to your knowledge base. Now, at the end of the article, I can say whether I like this article or not. And because let's say this article had a video, I'm going to say, yes, this was helpful, and I'm going to mark this helpful. So immediately the feedback is sent to you guys. The feedback is collected in the HappyFox help desk knowledge base area, and the user is known, has been informed about it. And now if you go back to this section and refresh this page, you'd be able to see that there is another rating. So 2 out of 2 people actually like this article. So this is really good feedback to have, and you can see which articles have been rated the most, and so on. So uh, now, apart from rating, HappyFox knowledge base with creating your sections and creating articles is almost as good as a CMS system. And you can actually, so once you go to, let's say, 100 articles, you don't want to see all of that in one page. You can actually just switch to, okay, show me all my internal articles. So I know these are still my internal articles that haven't gone live or is kept internal for a reason. And I can also jump into a specific section and see. So I wanted to go and find back that extended warranty article, which was still internal, and here it is. So you can browse and navigate through that very easily. So one of the other areas where you would basically manage your support center is manage, and it would be under your support center settings. So you could give a different name. So right now I have welcome to so if I go back to my home page, I basically have welcome to our support center. But let's say I don't want this very standard message. I want something more customized. So I could say welcome to Homecom support center. And I could just update this, and this is going to refresh immediately on the other end. And it's going to say, welcome to Homecom Support Center. So it's that easy to customize. And so again, it's found under Manage, General, and your Support Center settings. Now you could say you have various options. So you have login options for end users. You have a default landing page. Where should they land if they log into your Support Center? And you have this description. So again, now I can change description. Let's say I don't want people to register. So I could say if you have not created a ticket yet, uh, then let's say create a new ticket. So I could remove everything else and again update it, and it will start showing up as a customized thing on the homepage of the support center. Now we also have support center custom CSS. So I could actually write in my own CSS, and we have certain unique identifiers for each of those sections on the knowledge base. So you can easily turn on, turn off. You can change the font overall on the knowledge base and so on. You can also bring in your own JavaScript or HTML and make it part of the knowledge base. So if you're doing anything more complex, and I'm going to give you one use case of JavaScript insertion a little later in the demo, in the webinar. So now one other interesting, one of my favorite feature is when when let's say you have a downtime or you have an urgent message that you want to broadcast to all the people who are coming and getting support for you, then it's important that you actually broadcast this on your support center as well. So let's say we are going down from midnight to 2 a.m. PDT today, tonight, or on 15th of June. And so this basically is something, a message that you can put here and update it. And now if I go back to my knowledge center, two things must have changed. One is the welcome message here, and the other is I should see an announcement banner. So let's see. Yeah, so now you can see that a nicely popped up announcement banners come here. We're going down from midnight to on this particular date, and people can just turn this off. So, and if they turn this off, we remember that this particular message has been read. The moment you change your announcement banner again, will become active. It'll start showing up. So if you change the message, if you have something new to say, it's gonna pop up again if they are on this page or if they're anywhere across the support center. So whether they're on a single article page, a category, a tag, a search page, anywhere. And also you notice that this particular message got changed. Now, let me take you to what to do beyond. So this is basic knowledge base and managing your content. Now, how can I have how can HappyFox knowledge base be better than any other knowledge base out there? And this is where we have a marriage between the knowledge base and the ticketing system. So there are two important things that I'm going to talk to you about. One is you don't need to use the ticketing system to use the knowledge base. So knowledge base can be a completely independent use case. You still don't need to add a ticketing layer in HappyFox. So uh, uh, and you can actually have once if you do use the ticketing and the knowledge base, it makes it very powerful. So let me go back to a ticket here that I have, and the customer has made a question, has requested asked a question. I'm going to reply back to him, but instead of replying with a long answer, I'm just going to type in a specific knowledge base article. So I could actually type in a canned action also. So I could give him some instructions right in that email. But beyond that, let's say there is a more complex step to be taken, then I could actually give him a knowledge base link. So I could say how to increase signal strength from a security camera. So I'm going to basically pull in that knowledge base article and send him the link, and hence increasing my response time for that particular article, for that particular ticket. So I can respond back to him and update this ticket. So also when you respond back using knowledge base article, it not only gives them the specific solution, but this is the best way to graduate your users to come to your self-service portal. So when people say, hey, the answer was already available, how come I missed looking at it, and they can go back and they can actually start browsing more articles on knowledge base. So another thing that you can do is you can actually create a knowledge base article from an existing response. So let me go back to a ticket which I've already solved, and I want to create I replied to this customer with a long 7-step process, and I realized that more people might ask me the same question. So all I'm going to do is create on this particular response of mine. I'm going to create on the knowledge base icon. It's basically going to take me to the page where all the content of my reply is already gone in here, so it's already ready, and I can just type in my question here. So my question is going to be change the save duration. So I could just change it to how to change the save duration. Uh, and I could basically, my slug text is already in place. I can remove any personalized information that I already have from an end user. I could associate this to, let's say, software queries, and I could say I could bring in some tags here. So I'm going to say save duration is going to be one of my tag, and I'm going to publish this article. So that's easy. I basically within 2 minutes converted a reply that I probably spent 30 minutes on. I basically converted that into converted that into a knowledge base article. So this workflow is really amazing, where you can uh, very proactively put in new articles without having to really find out what you want to create an article. What should be your next article? Your next article can be driven from the reply that you send out. Uh, I'm going to now bump into a couple of advanced topics. Now, a couple of things that we have in place for you is you might not want the knowledge base uh, you might not want the knowledge base to be public. You want people to be logged in, people to have an account to be able to access the knowledge base. You can actually do that. So you have a support center setting where you could say that only allow people who have logged in to see my knowledge base articles. And let's say you have one login or your LDAP as your login setup. So let's say your knowledge base is still internal to your company. It's only for your company employees. And if you have a very protected authentication medium that you're using on HappyFox, it will basically mean even your external article is limited to people who already have an LDAP access or a account within your company's network. So that's one way. So basically all you have to do is go to visibility preference, and you basically say whether you want to allow people to log in, view knowledge base without logging in. So if you just turn this off and save, it's going to just take them to the login screen and not show them any knowledge base articles. So if you're using as an internal help desk and you want employees to actually see only the knowledge base articles created for employees and not the general public, then you can actually protect that. Also, who can add an editor knowledge base is available as a permission. So if you have different staff members within your account, you can actually give staff a permission whether they can add or edit knowledge base sections and articles. So again, you can control who gets access to managed knowledge base, and you can create a separate role if you wanted to make sure there's somebody from the tech right team or there's somebody from the marketing team who are going to manage the FAQs. Then you give them access just to that part of the system and nothing else in the system, and they are effectively your knowledge base content providers. So other thing that we actually was suggested by one of our users as a very smart workflow was, let's say I solved this ticket, I actually worked on a ticket, and I wanted to uh, I sent out a bigger response, and I wanted to convert that into a knowledge base article. So let's say I send out this response and I want this to be a knowledge base article. So what I can do is I can write a tag called need KB, and I can just mark this as updated. And then I can have a functionality which, let's say, let me keep this on hold, and I can now go back to the search functionality of HappyFox and show me all the tickets which have the tag need KB and are not yet closed. And I could do a search like that, and basically make sure that when my team comes on board, so I could just create a special view. So I could say view where tag contains need KB, and I could just say search, and it will now exactly pop that particular ticket. And so my content writer can come in, or my marketing team can come in and just search for everything that's been marked for need KB, and be able to solve it. And then eventually, if they want, they can actually remove the tag because now they've made a knowledge base article out of it. So, it's a nice way that support agent doesn't want to take the time and actually write a knowledge base, but he wants to leave a trail somewhere to make sure that somebody else does it. Then you could have that process continued by someone else in the team by just using tag smartly and creating a view for that tag and letting people know that if you search for need KB, you're going to get to all tickets which really require a knowledge base article. Now, I'm going to also talk to you about Google Analytics. So a lot of customers come back to us and ask us, hey, now that I have a full-blown knowledge base, how do I get more analytics? What is being viewed? What is my top article? And how are people browsing it? So we do provide you basic analytics. When you go to knowledge base articles, you know what is the usefulness, what is the view count. If you go to a specific article, you can see the view count of it. So as you are analyzing individual articles, you can actually get to know what's going on that article. But to go beyond that, we actually allowed you to add JavaScript code. So where you can actually just put in your Google Analytics code right here. And once you do that, it will start. You can create a new Google Analytics profile, paste that analytics code here, and your entire knowledge base is now being tracked. And you can see what people are searching for, what are the what are the articles that they have been viewed or how much time is being spent. So you can actually see many other things effective, which country is using your knowledge base more often. So let's say if you have a Spanish speaking country coming to your knowledge base more often, probably it's an indication that you want to have a bilingual knowledge base and so on. So apart from that, we also have two really advanced features is we have multi-brand. So if you have three businesses and you want to use the same backend of HappyFox, so you can actually create three individual knowledge bases for each of these brands. They will have a completely different URL. They'll have a complete different logo. Everything that you saw for a single knowledge base is replicate can be replicated for all the other brands, and that way, from a single HappyFox account, you can have three or four brands actually having completely exclusive content. We also have a knowledge base API. So if you have a web app, or if you have any other location where people might want to come and see your knowledge base, and you want to embed that part of your app or part of your other website, you can actually just pull knowledge base articles. So you can use HappyFox as a CMS system where you do all the input, manage all your knowledge base articles, and maybe use a completely different view or create your own knowledge base UI based on the API that we offer. So apart from that, if you need an internal knowledge base, you can actually also create internal knowledge base. It's great for training. It's great for internal process documentation. So every time you mark an article completely internal, then you're basically having people not people just internal to your company can actually, or people belonging to the help desk can actually just view those articles. So it's again very useful. It is completely complementary of your external knowledge base. Now, so that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk to you about in terms of what you can do on the back end of the knowledge base. And one of the cool things that I forgot to show you as we started the demo was every single knowledge base that you build is completely responsive, no matter how much you customize to a large extent. So if somebody's seeing this on an iPad, it's going to automatically turn into an iPad friendly format. And if somebody's going to see this on a mobile device, then it's going to become responsive on mobile as well. Gives you a complete peace of mind that no matter where my customers are reading my knowledge base, I have everything ready and easy to read and consume for them. So everything is neatly organized, whether they're on mobile or whether they are on the web. Uh, and so that brings me back to my slide. And so uh, Three new exclusive things that I want to talk to you about is number one, we are introducing first week of August, we are introducing a multilingual knowledge base. So you can have knowledge base in different languages. People who are coming to your website can switch between different languages and basically have articles being translated. So have a UI where somebody can see the English content and write a Spanish content for it and so on. So a complete new interface for you to manage multilingual knowledge base. So that's a big release. We've been working on this very hard for the last 3 months, ironing out every single case, taking care of handling different language uh, 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 features and stuff. So the other thing we are working on, and we've been working on, was restricting knowledge base to certain use groups. So let's say you have 5,000 customers, of which 2,000 customers have certain products that they've purchased, and they should be only able to see knowledge base related to what they've purchased. And the other group has to be able to see a different set of knowledge base. But you don't want to kind of maintain two different knowledge bases for them. You want to have a single knowledge base, but just turn on, turn off permission for them. So we have something called you can restrict a specific customer group or contact group to specific knowledge base sections. And that way you can actually, especially if you're in a B2B support scenario where you have a big 5 or 10 big companies that you're supporting and the knowledge base might differ for each of them, we would have this functionality in August. And this was a top feature asked by some of our customers, and we have made it happen. And the third most exciting feature we are introducing a new theme by end of August. So you already saw what we have right now. This is a theme that we have. We're working on a completely different theme so that you have something you can refresh your UI, you can change things, and again, it'll be responsive, it'll be very flexible, and it would be something that you would really love as an option. So uh, and so that takes me to the end of the presentation. And this is for everyone who's attended the webinar today. Uh, we have a very special giveaway. We are going to give away 1 hour of our development time, where our developer we can schedule a session where our developers would modify the CSS. You want certain look and feel changes to your knowledge base. We'll help you with that. You want to play around with our API or get an intro to it, or start writing some scripts around our API. We'll have at least 1 hour of developer time dedicated to your needs. And so this is absolutely free consultation. There's no charge whatsoever. And so you can actually make use of this to further customize your knowledge base. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. And again, these are our social handles. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google+. Find us, connect with us there, and feel free to ask us questions. If something we don't cover during the session, then you can ask us questions later.
Okay, so it looks like we have a couple of questions that came in during your webinar. Thank you, Shalin, for that. That was very informative. I hope that everybody enjoyed it as well. Here's the first question. They missed part of the first webinar. Will it be accessible online or anywhere else?
Yeah, so we do have a recording, like I showed you at the starting of the screen. So, starting of the session, that we will actually have this information available within 2 or 3 days. The whole webinar will be available for you to view and review again and share with your team members. Uh, so, yeah, so feel free to check us out, and we will probably send out an email specifically to let you know that this webinar is now available for viewing. So I see a next question, which is from can a customer add a comment in the KB article? So uh, yeah, so right now you cannot add a comment in a KB article, but this is again something which we have in our pipeline and our roadmap. So we should be adding that feature soon, where people will be able to add comments, and you guys would be to some extent able to moderate those comments and make sure we prevent spam, we prevent anybody trying to just insert links and stuff like that. So we'll take care of that, and uh, I would say this should become available within the next 2-3 months. Uh, and Yeah, so anyone else has more questions, you can just keep popping it. We already have a lot of questions, but if you have more questions, just we might not just take it up immediately, but we are going in the order in which the questions have been asked. And so if you I noticed somebody had if you had trouble anytime during the webinar, again, like I mentioned, this webinar, recorded webinar, will be available for you to review it at a later point. I have a next question, and so is there a way for my customers to access it with access to ticketing part? Okay, so that brings me to an interesting part of so once, let's say I log in as an end a user, um, I don't have access to this one. Let me just so if your users are already logged in and they have actually created questions, and once they're already in the ticketing system, they should be able to log in and actually start working on start seeing a tab called knowledge base and be able to log into that. So let me just log in here as a particular user, and so this is yeah, so if I'm able to log in, I would be able to start seeing the knowledge base tab. So as users log in, we still keep knowledge base relevant and make sure they have ticketing access and knowledge base access at the same time. Uh, yeah. So any other questions? We are almost towards the end of our presentation. We got 6 more minutes, and If you have any questions, feel free to shoot us your questions. And uh, yeah, we have one more. So, how about localization for other languages, especially from Europe? Do you plan to extend it? Yes, of course. So, we have some European languages available. We're continuously working on improving our UI in terms of our interface language to be translated. And apart from that, now that you have knowledge base, we'll actually let you create a different knowledge base profile for each language that you have. So if you have German, French, Spanish, you can actually create three sections, and the end users would be able to switch between the language and be able to retain the whole interface language in the language of their choice. So this is something that is going to release very soon, like I mentioned earlier, where you'd be able to handle multilingual content.
Okay, we have another question here. Can I turn the social media share off per article, or is it all or nothing?
Yeah, so you can share you can turn off, and the way you turn it off is basically you would go to your support center settings and you would write a CSS file to just turn off that div. So it's a simple piece of one line of code, and uh, uh, like again, you can ask more of such questions in our 1 hour developer time that you get, and basically we'll actually do the CSS writing for you and make sure even if you don't have knowledge about CSS and HTML, we basically take care of that for you. So perfect. So I think we have one more question, and we'll take that up. Okay, we have four more questions actually, so we didn't see it pop up earlier. So is there mapping between existing English, Spanish, French version of the same article, for example? So yeah, so the way the new multilingual interface is going to be, once you create an article in whichever is your default language, let's assume your default language to be English, you'd be basically told that this article exists in English but doesn't exist in other languages. So it'll be very easy for you to spot the articles which have not yet been translated, and you can choose to translate them. And when you translate, you will have a split screen where you can see what is the original article in English and then start writing the translated content right below it. So it's going to be very easily translating, and it's also be very easy to kind of replicate that article across. So you don't have to create the section again. You just have to uh, write that new language content for a particular article that you already have. So I hope that answered your question, Brian. So is it possible to access the knowledge base via web service API? Good question. Yes, we do have an API available. You can read in your knowledge base articles and get data from it, display it any format that you want. So it's again very easy. And again, you can work with our developers, and we can, if you have a specific use case, we can write you the sample code in the preferred language. So if you're using PHP, Ruby, Python, any of those languages, or any Microsoft technologies, we have resources in every single programming language. We'll make sure we write some amount of sample code and show you examples on how to extend your use case with our API. So another question we have here is, can I possibly, is it, can can I update fonts, or the only way to do it is using CSS? So uh, yeah, so choosing your font is easiest done using CSS because you don't have to then do it any point of time. And I mean, you don't have to do it for every single article or every single, you can override the defaults very easily, just one line of code. Again, we can show you how to do that, and uh, there's absolutely no uh, it's going to be very simple, and it's just probably 1 or 2 lines of code to have you change the fonts through the CSS. So there's another follow-up question that we have. Okay, so Okay, so if English version of the article got updated, is there a way we would know that Spanish also needs an update here? So that's interesting. We haven't thought about it yet. So we would definitely consider that, take that as feedback. So I wrote an original English article, I translated to Spanish, and 2 months later I added two more paragraphs to it. Now, how do I let the Spanish article know that there are, it's not equal anymore, so there are differences? So we are probably going to work around the last updated time and know that this article was updated after the translation was done, and probably somehow bring that feature. So we're going to take that as a feature request and make sure that that becomes available sooner. So, yep. Perfect. So there are more questions, but I think we are reaching the end of the time. So we want to close this within 45 minutes. And thank you so much, everyone, for spending time on the session today. I hope you find it useful. We'd love your feedback. So if you have any feedback over this webinar, you have any suggestions for new webinar topics that you would like us to cover, please send us an email to support@happyfox.com and we'll take those feature requests.